Hey everyone, it's me, Donna. Okay, I'm making this video today to talk about a feature that I think would be great that some of these DNA companies could incorporate into their internet package. Like once you do a DNA test, personally, I don't think it'd be a good idea to make this like a subscription or anything like that. But maybe just make it as a one-time payment add-on. I think that would be a good idea. Maybe an extra $10 or something like that. But of course, I'm not running any of these companies, so I don't have any say-so over it. But it's just an idea that I've got because, as some of you may know, since I've been posting videos about this, I've given pros and cons of the different DNA companies that I've done DNA tests with. And I feel like some companies are leaving things out. They're not going deep enough. They're not looking at the smaller pieces of DNA that people have. I think that's kind of like a disservice to your customer. But anywho, if they're just going to give the recent stuff, in my opinion, it would be a good idea to then offer, maybe at a little extra charge, hopefully without a subscription, a deeper dive, where they do look at the smaller pieces and go deeper. But then there are companies out there that do go deeper, like CRI Genetics, Helix. When they were doing it, theirs were pretty good. And there's a few other companies out there. But companies like Ancestor DNA, they don't look deep. I mean, they barely go past the third or fourth great grandparent, in my opinion. Okay. Same thing with 23andMe now. I know back in 2018 when I did a DNA test with them, I had some pretty good results, but that dwindled as they kept doing updates. They kept taking away more and more and more from my DNA report, and that was a lot of that was incorporating the smaller pieces of DNA that I have. So, it just kept getting worse. But in my opinion, if they want to make extra money, and if cost is the issue, then bring back these deeper dives and just add like a fee to it. A small fee, nothing huge, but I'm sure a lot of your customers out there would gladly pay, another $5 or $10 to get that deeper dive. Okay, but anyway, all right. As of right now, these companies, even companies like Ancestry DNA and even 23andMe, they're getting better with being able to separate you and divide you up into one parent or the other. As a lot of you may know, recently Ancestry DNA added that feature. It starts off with parent 1 and parent 2. Okay, and if you've got more cousins that you're connected to, and also if you can go in and put yourself the information as, okay, this cousin is kin to me on my father's side, this cousin's kin to me on my mother's side, and so on and so forth. If you can fill quite a bit of that information in, it makes it a lot easier for the program to figure out which parent is which side these cousins fall on. Okay, then you can go in and have it change up. Instead of saying parent 1 and parent 2, it will say mother and father. So then it will know, okay, this whole group of cousins are kin to you on your mother's side, and this whole group of cousins are kin to you on your father's side. So it's really advanced at that point. And who knows, because, when this was kind of starting out a little bit in that direction, I had went in and started filling that information in about, this cousin's kin to me on my father's, this and so there may be some people who take the test tomorrow and then all of a sudden it just automatically knows, which is cool. But as of right now, from what I understand, it will initially label you as having parent 1 and parent 2. And this is something that I've noticed that it, don't take my full word on it, but I have decided in my head that on a lot of these companies, if they do break you down as ethnicity and all that coming from parent one and parent two, usually parent one, the one that's on top, is your mother, and the one on the bottom is your father. At least that's been my situation. That's what I have figured out. So that's real cool. So that helped me a lot, because I was able to compare. When I finally found out, my mom, especially after my mom did a DNA test with 23andMe, I was able to find a specific ethnicity that I realized that she gave me. Initially, I thought it came from my father, but then after she took the test, she had that same strip on the same spot on her DNA, and I realized, okay, this came from my mother. So that helped me go back, because Ancestor DNA also had that same strip in that same spot, even though they didn't have it labeled, because, that's what they're doing. They're not bothering to go that deep, but still they had it there, and they had it as like unidentified or unassigned or whatever. But that helped me determine that, okay, so my mama's on top when you look at your DNA painting. My mom was on top and my father was on the bottom. So that might help some of you guys. Okay, but anyway, but the idea that I have now, which is building upon that framework, is, let's just say like if you don't know the ethnicity of your great-grandparent or your second great-parent or third or whatever, if these companies want to help you dive deeper, what they can do is they can use you and your cousins that are coming in on the same side at the same ancestor. It would be so cool if they could generate an idea as to the ethnicity of that particular ancestor that you have. Like, they can take all the information, all the strips that you match, this cousin and that cousin and that cousin. They can say, okay, that strip belongs to your great-grandparent on your father's side, or your mother's side, or whatever. And it would really help, like, if they can narrow that down to a male or female, and like go on up the line. And especially if you have like 4 or 5, or let's just say you have 1,000 cousins that share these pieces of DNA pointing in that direction to that ancestor, then what they can do is they can say that they're such and such percent sure that this ancestor has this particular ethnicity report. Like, they can even pop up an ethnicity report on this ancestor and say, due to the information, like, they can let you know that there's gaps, because naturally there's going to be gaps, unless you have like a whole lot of cousins that are pointing to that one ancestor. There's going to be gaps. But what they can do is they can give a guesstimation, okay? And they can use the information that they do have that's coming in from all these other cousins that point to that one ancestor, and they can guesstimate as to what the ethnicity report of that ancestor is. And they can actually give them a report just like they do you, okay? But then, they can let you know in the report, though, it will say, like, you've got 1,000 cousins that are participating in this, and, and then, like I said, they can give you information as to, the gaps. They can do like a DNA painting, right? Just like they do you and your parent or anybody else that takes a DNA test. They can pop up a DNA painting, and they can show where all the strips match up and where there's gaps, okay? And as more and more information pours in, like more and more cousins take DNA tests, then more pieces of those gaps can get filled in for that ancestor, and boom, there's the information. Now, if you happen to have a great-grandparent that pops up and actually takes the DNA test, then that part of your reading will go away, and the real report will pop up, for that ancestor, and the company will let you know that that ancestor took a DNA test and this is the real report. But still, that information can be used on back up the line, and so on and so forth. I mean, they can go, depending on what the company, how far back a company actually wants to go with this, they could really, that would just be so neat and so fascinating, to see strips being completed. Because let's just say, like, you've got this cousin and you've got a strip, and your strip is so many centimorgans long, like say like 6 centimorgans long. Okay, but then you got a cousin that's their strip is 8 centimorgans long, and it matches up with you, but they got that little extra piece that's there connecting to that ancestor. And then another cousin can come along, and if they've got an extra piece that links up to that cousin, like say like the other end, like the pieces of that the extra 2 centimorgans that's left over from your matchup, that other cousin that shares that with them, and however long theirs is, say like if they've got an extra 6 centimorgans long, well, see if it gets linked up that way, then they can piece together these ancestors like a puzzle. Okay, so then it will all link up. That would be so neat to be able to open that up. And the company can make it to where, like, say like if you do a DNA test and you open up that feature, or just even if you don't but other people do, if you decide you want to take away your kit and all that, the company could still hang on to the information that you gave, so that it won't take away from the calculations of these ancestors. But yet, even though your kit itself that links to you, that part will be erased and taken away and whatever. But still, the fact is you gave that information to the company, and I feel like the company should still be able to hang on to at least the part that links up the ancestors and that gives calculations to the ethnicity group, in the DNA painting and all. It's just that now it will be like anonymous, like people won't be able to know who, what, or whatever, which actually the thing itself, which they can set it up to where you can check and see other cousins that are linking up to the pieces of the puzzle. That would be kind of neat. But also other people can just opt to be anonymous. Like if they just want to do their regular DNA stuff and get their information, but they don't want to actually have it be known that they're linking up to this, they can click anonymous, and it won't show them, but it could show the anonymous pieces of the puzzle that that gives that information for that ancestor, if that makes any sense. But I'm gonna play a little animation that I made that kind of give people an idea as to what I'm talking about with how it could look. Let me put it on loop and play, and let's see, make it bigger. Okay, so see, this is how it could look. It could say, okay, say like if this is your, first, second, third, fourth, fifth, or whatever, however far back the company wants to do it, they can show like a thing right here and kind of give the look of how the ancestor might look, the clothing, maybe the skin tone or whatever, and they can show like an ethnicity report. Okay, but then also that, like I said, they can do like a DNA painting, and they can show what parts they actually have, that people have actually, people that have taken the test have actually given the information that they've given to piece together this person, and then what parts are missing and empty at that time. And then, like I said, as time goes by and more people do DNA tests, then it can fill in more and more of the gap. Like it can say that it's, right now it's say 30% complete. They can say this ancestor is 30% complete, and then who knows, 4 or 5 months down the road, they might be 70% complete or whatever. However, So I just think this would be a kind of a neat thing. It would be interesting. And especially if they allow you, to kind of share it with your cousins, you can see, the pieces that they gave, that they got from this ancestor, and pieces that you've got, and in other cousins, pieces that they've got, and so on and so forth. And I think it will kind of help people figure out more as to what they did get from this particular ancestor, even if they don't know that ancestor's name or anything about them. But if they can know that, okay, this ancestor gave us this, that's what we've gotten from this ancestor right now, and this is how complete the information is at this point, and all that. I really think that would be a neat feature that companies could add. So, but anyway, I just wanted to share this idea with you guys, and it'd be neat if some companies out there were listening, and actually like this idea. So feel free to like and share and pass it around. It'd make my day. But anyway, we'll talk to you guys later. Bye.